For a limited time, 30-day all-access passes are discounted from $349 to $199, saving you $150 and coming out to just $6.63 per day. We have decided to sweeten this deal and allow our clients to extend this big discount for 60 days, saving $300 and locking in their favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 2 months for only $300.98. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 60 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Pressman. He's Teddy Covers. We got a great show planned, Teddy. Vino and Ski were on it as of last night. And now it's Marco and Merril. And you know what? We don't lose a beat on this show, man. One legend in, one legend out. And, of course, Marco, he'll be joining us, too. We got Charlotte and Milwaukee, LA Kings, San Jose, Cincinnati, and Arizona. Marco's going to look at all of those plays. As for Steve Merril, well, Teddy, that's a surprise. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about with him because Ski had an emergency, and I only got Merril to enter this forum about 20 minutes ago. So we'll play that one by ear. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine. And, of course, the beauty of having a stable of handicappers like WagerTalk is that when someone calls in, Rob Vino was getting his shot today. Obviously, Ski had a last-minute something. The beauty of what we've put together at WagerTalk is that when two guys go out, we got two more guys that could fit right in. So I'm proud is not the right word. I'm impressed with the roster of talent that we put together over at WagerTalk. It's a lot of good handicappers and a lot of good on-air personalities. So hopefully we'll give you some of that today.
Yeah, and that's such a great point because, so many of our guys are both incredible handicappers and really good on-air personalities. Of course, there's always Marco. He'll be joining us shortly. Teddy, before we get into what went down last night in the world of sports, I just want to tell everybody Brian Leonard just absolutely killing it in the NHL right now. Brian's got a 5% play up. Brian's on a 14-3 run in the NHL. He has a 5% play. And the man in orange has a 5% play as well. And just to let everyone know, I'm wearing my 5% pants. So I got a 5% play too in NHL. And $10 off both. Use the promo code NHL10. And if you're getting both plays, you gotta make that purchase separately so you can use the promo code twice. If you put both our 5% plays on the same cart, you'll only get to use it once. Teddy, what went down in the world of sports last night, my friend?
Sure. Let's talk a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the sports betting world last night that allows us to turn the page and focus on what's going on today. But we got to talk about some of the stuff that happened over the course of the last 24 hours. That's not a bad beat. I beat myself up over this. Well, NBA rule number 1. I probably said it on the show 50 times. Team steps up in the first game without their star. And Ralph gave 15 reasons yesterday to bet the Pistons. I'm like, they're on my short list, but I'm not playing them because Jeremy Grant's hurt. They're without their star. I'm a freaking idiot. That's a bad beat on me, and I apologize to the clients because the choice should have been on my card last night. I was a freaking idiot. Bad beating myself. In MLB, teams that can't hit get bad beat more than average, I would say, because every bullpen failure is magnified. You had the Marlins yesterday. You have a nice plus price ticket in your pocket going in the 9th inning. You only have a 2-1 lead because their offense can't score. And then they lose the game on a non-reviewable strike 3 hit by pitch that should have been an out. And Conforto's over the plate, but it wasn't reviewed. It not reviewable, which allows the game-winning run to trot home for the Mets. Tough beat if you had the Marlins last night. How about one in hockey? Winnipeg and Montreal, total 5.5. Sitting there 3-2, less than a minute to play. And there's going to get one of these in hockey. almost every night. The bad angle empty net goal with 30 seconds left sends the game over the total. 5.5 under bettors. Didn't enjoy that. The point spread drama game of the night, we call it, the Heat, -8.5, -9, -9.5 against the Lakers. Miami's up 10 with less than 2 to play, but Wes Matthews hit a 3, KCP hits the 3, and then Drummond hits a tip, and Schroeder hits a layup in the last 15 seconds. Lakers lose by only 6. Tough if you had Miami. And there's one more bad beat, and I don't even know what it is. Marco, why don't you share it with us?
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on today. And this bad beat is a personal bad beat for Marco, and it's because I did something that Prez would do. It was a real jerk move. Went to Red Rock last night with my Pony Pundits co-host, which, by the way, shameless plug. You can watch that today at 4 o'clock Eastern. Sig, Las Vegas. We went to Red Rock to play poker. So we had our names on the list at the same time. They called his name first, me right after him, and we were going to the same table, guys. I look back at the table number that they were sending us to, and there was seat 4 and seat 5 open. So I know what Prez would do. He would grab seat 5 so that you have your buddy to your right to punish him all night long. Well, guys, we weren't even into the first orbit. And my buddy Sig, in the seat that really should have been mine if I wasn't a jerk, flops quads and gets it all in with a guy that had the full house, kings over 7s, but he had pocket 7s and had quads. So not only wins a massive pot, it was quad floppers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Red Rock, $500 bonus for flopping quads for the seat that I should have been in. That's my bad beat for the night.
So Marco, did you take the seat to his left or not? I didn't even understand that. You called yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Marco,
yes. I instead of waiting for the chips, I ran to the table and set my phone down on seat 5 so I would have position over him.
Yeah. I mean,
so everybody
it's
knows
absolutely
out
what
there,
you do if your buddy, if you're sitting down with your buddy and you have a chance to be on his left, you're going to be there. I understand. Tough beat
so
for Marco at the poker table. Let's get back to bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the book. A couple of bad bets worth noting. The NHL, biggest mover last night. What was that the Caps pick? The -130 against the Bruins. They lost 4-2. MLB, Koken said the markets love them some Brew Crew with Burns on the hill, and they did. Milwaukee bet up from -130 to -150. Road chalk in St. Louis. The problem, of course, is the Brew Crew can't hit right now. They lose that game 3-1. Bad bets on Milwaukee. And what did we say on Big Game Breakdown yesterday? The knee-jerk Blazers money's coming. +7 down to +6 down to +5. Well, Utah didn't care about that knee-jerk Blazers money. The Jazz win going away, blowing out Portland in the second half of that game. Bad bets on Portland. When it comes for bad for the books, the NHL biggest mover, the Islanders. You guys talked about the big move they made at the trade deadline, -160 to -175 against the Flyers. They won 3-2 in a shootout. That wasn't good for the house. The Islanders now a hot team in the betting markets. In MLB, there was nothing but Rockies and under money versus the D-backs. 7-3 final. Rockies cashed, under cashed. The wise guys in the public all over the Twinkies yesterday. Minnesota -180 up to -220. They won 10-2 against the Mariners. That not a good result for the house. Huge total move. Steam City in MLB, KC and Chicago. The White Sox 9 all the way down to 8. 6-0 final. That's a big move for an MLB total. That was bad for the house. And same thing in the NBA. Big steam. The Cavs and OKC 212 up to 219. A 7-point move at this stage of the season in the NBA. You don't see that every night. Bettors got it right. 119-102. No sweat by halftime. That one more bad result for the house. There you have it, Prez. A little recap of last night's action, including Marco's bad beat at the poker table. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, so I just want to get this out there, and I'm going to say this publicly on the show. 152 of you guys already watching, more coming. You'll hear it all. Anytime I'm at the table with Teddy and Marco, not only would I take the seat to the right, But even that one hand where I am finally in position on them, I'll take a washroom break. And I will still beat them blind. You can give me one card. These two guys couldn't carry my poker chips to the table. That is the difference between me, Teddy, and Marco. They can want to be on my left all they want. It won't help. I am committed to sit on your right from now on forever. Joe Ranieri, play some music over Teddy, please.
No, I'm very interested in this wager because you just said that you're going to win that with one card. So
one card.
I will be happy to play all night with you. You get one card. Me and Marco
I won't
get two.
Even look.
You can sit any position you want.
I won't even look at the other card. Marco is the biggest punani at the table. All you got to do is raise, re-raise, quad raise. Marco will just shiver in his boots. Marco's the guy that will lay down quads thinking there's a chance you might have a royal flush. Marco D'Angelo! What an NBA run you're on, dude. Congratulations, man. Just amazing. God, I'd like to be on a 15-5 NBA run, NHL run, 14-3 NBA, 15-5 NHL. Congratulations. You got a coupon code up for everybody. Get 3 days all access. It does include a poker lesson. $49. Use the coupon code MD49. Marco will be logging on to Zoom at 3 p.m. Eastern to give a poker lesson out. We're not going to bother giving the address. No one will show up. How are you, my friend?
I love the warmth and, warm and fuzziness of, jumping in at the last minute to do the show for you as you called me last night when I was at the poker table, not too far removed from watching my buddy get that massive pot and get the high hand bonus that should have been mine if I wasn't a jerk. And that's what happens when I think like the Prez. It backfires on me. But, hey, it's good to be here anyways, Teddy. I enjoy being with you.
Marco, everybody knows you take 7 minutes per game on your breakdown, and that's before Teddy interrupts. Let's get to it, man, because we actually only have a 45-minute show. Charlotte at Milwaukee tonight, and Milwaukee -7.5, a total of 222.5. Regale us with your incredible wisdom.
Well, this is one of my favorite angles. And if you remember when I was on the show Monday, I went against that angle and it did work out well for me. But I'm back to taking that angle here. And that's Milwaukee returning home off of the long road trip. And they did play last night. So they're really a fatigue factor for Milwaukee. I look at this one. It's their third game in 4 days. As I said, they played last night in Dallas. And the final score looks like it was a blowout, but guys, really it wasn't. A lot of times when you see a blowout, you'll say, okay, they rested people in the fourth quarter because it was a blowout. They actually had the lead going to the fourth quarter and got outscored. I think it was like 36-17 in the fourth to lose by 15. I'm going to go ahead and take Charlotte. They're finishing up a road trip tonight. It was a 6-game road trip, but they're rested, guys. This is only their second game in 5 days. I'll go ahead and take them. The Greek freak, Giannis, is questionable at the moment for Milwaukee. He didn't play last night. Either way, the situation for me screams to take Charlotte plus the points. This is just one of those situational plays. Teddy, I'm sure you can cross-examine me, but I'm going to stick to my guns. It's the situation. I got to go with the inflated number on Milwaukee returning home, going against them.
Oh, there's no cross-examination here. It's just a question about the best way to approach it. I had Charlotte on my short list as well and haven't pulled the trigger yet. But the question is, Giannis right now is questionable. And really, I don't know if he's playing tonight or not. You don't know if he's playing tonight. I don't know if he knows he's playing or the Bucks know if he's playing. When you have these situations where the star is maybe going to play and maybe not going to play, and you want to bet on that team, you want to bet against that team, what's the right strategy for making your wager? Do you bet it early? Do you bet it late? Do you bet it at whatever number you see given the uncertainty? In my mind, this is one of the more difficult questions for many bettors is when do I bet this game?
Well, here's the thing with that. You're absolutely right, Teddy. It's like stock. When do you buy and when do you sell? Obviously, once it's confirmed either way, there's going to be a movement in the line. Now, a lot of people will say, well, don't you want to know if he's playing or not as far as your wager goes? Because if he comes back, that's good for Milwaukee. No, it really isn't, Teddy, because I always talk about the injured player theory, and there's two sides to the injured player theory. We like to take the injured team that first game that the star's out. But in the second game that he's out, it's a go against most of the time, because if they played a tough game with him out, there's that mental letdown that, okay, we're all right, we can handle this without him. Or the flip side, which what you might have tonight, is if he comes back, you also have the mental letdown. Okay, he's back. We're okay now. And then you also get the little inflation in the line. So whether he plays or doesn't play tonight, I still like the Charlotte side. The only question is, where do we get the best number? I say, because we're definitely going to be on the dog, go ahead and grab the number now, maybe for half your wager. And then if he's confirmed in and it goes up, complete the other half of the wager at a little better number.
Sure. Now, it doesn't always work. And I talked in the big game breakdown the other night about our here at Brooklyn and Durant's coming back and they're bet against in that first game back. And that wasn't necessarily the case. But in general, Marco, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That first game without the star is a bet on. The first game with the star back tends to be, not always, but tends to be a bet against. Lawrence?
Absolutely. And we talk long term,
Marco, let's move to NHL before the show runs out on us. Love having you on, brother. So LA Kings, San Jose, this is a huge game for both teams. The Arizona's holding the final spot, playoff spot. They're at 43 points, but they have 2 games in hand over both San Jose and LA. I really feel like whoever loses this game is out. That's how big a game this is. And San Jose is playing way better right now. They've won 4 of their last 5. And the Kings, they've just fallen apart. They've lost 6 of 8. Where are you going in this one?
All right, I'll make this one short and sweet for you, believe it or not. What I'm hearing you say, Prez, is this game tonight has a playoff atmosphere to it because of the ramifications of winning or losing it. And when we talk about, hey, it's going to be a playoff type game, what do we think? We think under. We think that, it's important. They're going to be hard-nosed defense on both ends. Couple that thinking with this stat I'm going to give you. San Jose, over the last 2 seasons, in home games following a game in which they gave up 5 goals or more, blindly taking the under, 22-4. I'm on the under in this one.
Marco D'Angelo, the under does worry me a little. That's a bold pick, man. I mean, LA Kings surprisingly have been playing to the over all year. Recently they haven't, though. So let's see what happens. I'm not with you, but I'm not against you, and I will cheer for you, my friend. Let's talk some baseball. Cincinnati and Arizona. And man, I'll tell you, this Cincinnati team, up and down, they can put up runs. 9 is the number. Cincy minus 133. Where are you going here, man?
Well, Arizona, this is their home opener. So, I like to go against teams returning home off of the road trip. Little subset, be careful with that with home openers. But because of where they played their last 3 games, the Arizona bullpen's going to be thin, guys. You're going to have to bank on a situation where the starter's going to give you a lot of innings tonight because Arizona just absolutely got toasted in the 3-game set in Colorado, which happens to a lot of teams. They gave up a ton of runs, 23 runs in that 3-game series. So what I will tell you is if you like Arizona, which I do not, this is absolutely a first 5-inning wager for you betting Arizona. But I like Cincinnati. This is a team that has won 5 in a row. And as much as I like fading teams returning home from a road trip, Teddy, here's one of my other angles for you. I like taking a road team in their first game on the road if they're heading out for that road trip on a significant winning streak, which Cincinnati is, 5 straight games. Why do I like that? Because they're ultra focused to get that road trip off to a good start to keep the momentum going. Couple that with the pitching situation with Arizona, that puts me on Cincinnati in this ball game.
Now, there's been nothing but Reds money in this contest. It opened as low as minus 111, minus 115 in that range, and I'm seeing minus 150s out there. At the current price, is this a lean or is this a bet?
Well, this is one of those ones that is right now a lean for me because, I'm kicking myself for not pulling the trigger last night when that line was available. Problem with, and the sad part of it is, Teddy, in our business is, yes, we may be able to grab the number, when it's out there overnight and still get the good number before everybody jumps in the morning. But when you're selling picks and your customers aren't going to see it till the morning and they're getting a bad number, you feel bad in doing that. And sometimes you leave a winner on the table because you don't want them to lay a bad number. And that's where the situation is here on this one. Value-wise, we lost some, but that's another debate. Do you want a losing ticket at a good number or a winning ticket at a bad number? Is the glass half full or half empty? Chicken or the egg? You tell me.
It's so interesting, Marco, what you're talking about. And I mean, we could make a whole show of it, sort of the difference between betting and handicapping. And I mean, there's so many other things involved as well. You got, Colorado Avalanche plays Anaheim minus 290. I can't release minus 290. I can't give that out to my clients, but I can bet it. And people, well, why would you bet it and not release it? Nobody wants to pay money to be told that a minus 290 is going to win. Yet there's value there. So you bet it. It's a real interesting.
And I don't understand
case,
that,
Teddy.
Because
Go ahead.
In MMA, all right, if people happily pay minus $5,
you're right,
on someone in a fight. If
right.
minus 290 is a value bet, why wouldn't you want to give that to your client?
Teddy, maybe it's just that we've never done it, but it is starting to slowly happen. I mean, even tonight, we have guys that are playing minus 230s, in baseball, minus 210s, etc. It is starting to go there, and I'm not against it because I agree with you. If it's a value play, the number really shouldn't matter. It's just something that really most handicappers have never done. Marco, quick add to that, and then I got to get you out of here. You got some chicken wings to eat.
Absolutely. I wouldn't sell a play by itself like that, but I would include it in a package if there's value in that game. And it goes back to Teddy, Super Bowl. There's several prop bets that are extremely high, but the actual math is way higher than what the books price it at, like safeties in a Super Bowl and things like that. And people will lay those numbers because the math says there's huge value there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, while we're at it, I think there's huge value on the Avs at minus 215 tonight in regulation. But there's a play I'm not going to be releasing to my clients, but I am personally going to bet. Marco, thank you for this, man. I know you had very little notice. You're one of the most awesome guys I've ever met in my life. I've now said something good. Get the hell out of here. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown coming up. Steve Merril, my penalty box segment, so much more. Go eat your chicken wings. Give us 20 seconds and a whole lot of likes, please, people.
How has the Prez done for his clients this season in the NHL? He's the number 1 ranked NHL handicapper at WagerTalk and up 57% in profit with a 60% winning percentage. He's also 9-5 on 5% NHL best bets with a 64% winning percentage. The NHL regular season concludes in May, and the Stanley Cup finals aren't until July. And to lock in all of the Prez's hockey plays priced at $459. But until Sunday at midnight, you can save 50%. That's almost $230 off and get every one of his releases on the ice, including 5% best bets priced at $40 for $229.50, coming out to only $2.27 per day.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. We've been talking NBA all week, and I thought that we were going to have Ski on today, so I prepared MLB for Friday. Let's talk a little Padres and Rangers on the MLB network. It'll be a national TV affair for what it's worth. We have Arihara against Musgrove. Right now, we're looking at San Diego, minus 180, total of 9 to the over. And this is a Padres team that has scored 8 runs over the last 4 games. They went 5 for 24 with runners in scoring position during that stretch. Manny Machado, 1 extra base hit. Tommy Pham doesn't have any. They just lost Fernando Tatis for a long-term injury. All that, we're looking at the over in tonight's game. And I'm a streak rider in MLB, and the Padres are trending under. I understand that. This is one spot where I'm looking to get ahead of the curve when it comes to San Diego. Let's start about Globe Life Field, all right? The Padres were in a very similar spot last year where they went through some struggles. They had a couple of key injuries, and they went to Texas, and boy, they got healthy in a hurry. The lineup got going, the offense going. They were all talking about it in the locker room prior to the road trip, saying, yeah, we feel good about going to Texas and getting back on track after that rough run. Will Myers, quote, we have a great team top to bottom. Losing a great player is tough, but we have to go out there and keep being ready to play. We've obviously proved that in the past with some of the injuries we had last year and overcoming that with winning streaks. I think that's what this group is made for, and that's what will happen again. Not that we're going to win 7 straight right away, but I think we're going to go out and play really good baseball. All right. We don't trust either starter here. Musgrove is a bad fit. Fly baller in a supposed to be nice and warm and humid in Texas today. Temperatures in the 80s. Musgrove's a fly baller in a park that I don't want fly ballers in. Arihara, labored through 5 innings in his debut, 1 strikeout, and the bullpen behind him is not a bullpen that I trust. So Texas can score. San Diego can score. Starters we don't trust. At least one bullpen that we don't trust. It's one spot where I'm going to try to get out ahead of the streak ending. And of course, Trent Grisham's coming back for the Padres as their starting leadoff hitter, which I think could give him a nice boost up at the top. Put it all together. Padres, Rangers, over 9. You have to lay minus 120 to do it. But I think it gets there. I'll look for a high-scoring affair down in Arlington this evening. Padres, Rangers, over. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, it's funny you gave that play out. At the beginning of all season, I signaled the San Diego Padres as an under team. I said to myself, I'm going to bet them under at the start of the season, and I didn't. And I'm kicking myself.
Bummer.
Yeah. Does that stuff happen to you where you're like, Boise State in football, I'm on them for the first 4 weeks, and then you just never play them at all?
Of course. Look, it happens to everyone, okay? The goal as a professional is that we have enough time throughout the course of the week that we can actively choose not to make that bet and be even more frustrated about it as opposed to just forgetting about it like the average guy.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching Wager Talk today, everybody. Guys, please hit that like button for us. It's greatly appreciated. And also use the promo code NHL10. You get $10 off of either and both Brian Leonard and my 5% play. Let's bring in Steve Merril. And Steve, man, I caught you in bed today with your wife, which is a good thing. But yeah, dude, you sounded rough.
Didn't get much sleep. Yeah, but I was actually awake. You didn't wake me. The ringer is off if I'm asleep, so you will never wake me, Prez. I'm available 24/7. If I don't answer, the ringer's off, so it's never an issue. And yeah, I kind of backloaded all my shows here on Friday. I stuck Brian Leonard with Tony Finn on the baseball show yesterday, and now Ski drops, so I'm in here today. And Ski drops the NBA show, which means I get Tony Finn today on the NBA show. So my master plan backfired on me in a way.
Sounds like you pulled a Marco at the poker table. With all that said, we love Tony Finn. Oh, can you imagine, Teddy? Tony and Marco as guests on Wager Talk Today? This show would never end. Anyway, let's get to it, brother. We got one NBA, one baseball, and we're talking, no NASCAR. You surprised us.
Yeah, I threw a loop on you, buddy. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm off to a great baseball start. 5-1 on the season, and both free plays I've used here on this show and the baseball show have won. So we're going to go with 2 baseball today as a little treat. I know we don't have Ski, but NBA is dicey right now, man, and baseball is really rolling well.
You got it, brother. Well, let's start with the Indiana Pacers against Orlando. Indiana, they're right in the thick of things right now. Orlando obviously out of it. Indy, I think the line -4.5. 2.5 is the total. You know, just eyeing this quickly, I got to think you're playing the Pacers tonight. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. And it probably will be a bit of a public play. Although, you know, the Pacers have been a fairly big money burner, as Teddy knows, over the last couple of months. And that's actually kind of why I like them here. I do think we're getting a discount because of that. And Orlando had won 5 straight against the spread, and they'd won 3 of those 5 straight up as a dog about a week ago. But they've now gone 0-3 straight up, 1-2 against the spread their last 3. So I think they're heading the other direction, and I think we actually get some value with the Pacers here at 4.5. You know, I did the NBA preview show back in December with Andy Lang, Andrew McGinn.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're having a little bit of problems. Teddy, I'm with Steve on the Pacers tonight, man. I think this team, they're just better than Orlando. Any thoughts on this game?
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
I will not put my money on Indiana. No. Not without Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon, and Domantas Sabonis. And we don't know if Brogdon or Sabonis is going to play. Turner's already out. Obviously, they're missing T.J. Warren. That's 4 of their 5 starters. That's 3 potential all-stars. That's all the good players that Indiana has. And they're all hurt. And they're not a team that plays a whole lot of defense. So let's have let's get Merril's finishing thoughts on that ball game before I rip him for taking Indiana.
Oh, were you against me? Okay, I just caught the tail end of your analysis. I thought you were with me. Yeah, I just think it might be a turning point for the Pacers, who were expected to be a playoff team this year. You know, about a 60% chance to make the playoffs, and they vastly underperformed. But I think this is a good turnaround spot, and they've won 2 of their last 3, Teddy. But what I like is they've shot 55% or better in those 2 wins. I do like to look at offensive momentum and current form in the NBA. I think sometimes you get a buy signal with those situations.
Sure. Are you worried at all about Indiana's injuries? Because now they could well be without, their 4 best players tonight. And they'll certainly be without 2 of the 4. And if Brogdon and Sabonis don't play, that's a pair of all-stars or all-star caliber players. And without that quartet, Indiana's, they're pretty hopeless. They look a lot like Orlando. You worried about the injuries?
Yes, and that's probably what will keep this from being my top best bet. And by the way, the plays on this show, guys, I think they've gone like 5 in a row. They've won. I won the Dodgers the other day when I was on. Also had the Arizona D-backs outright on Tuesday when I was with you guys. So, these are games I like, but this probably won't make the official best bet card for that reason, Teddy. But one thing I'll point out about that, as we've seen all year long in the NBA, when teams are shorthanded, they often vastly overperform in the first game or 2. So if anything, that might be a buy signal. It's, it's kind of hold your nose, pull the trigger, and hope for the best, but it has been working.
Steve Merril. Steve, let's move on to baseball. Nationals and the Dodgers. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, as I mentioned when I was on Tuesday with you guys, I used the Dodgers 1.5 run line as the free play. I also used it on the baseball show Tuesday. I used it last Friday when I was on the baseball show as well. And what I've pointed out is a running theme since last season. If you're going to play Dodger games, you either play the Dodgers minus 1.5 run line or you play the other team outright at plus money. Now, I lean Dodgers in this game, but I could make an argument for the Nationals, actually. So if you are going to play this one, it's either Dodgers minus 1.5 run line or Nationals plus money as the big dog. I'm not going to lay 300. You guys were talking about that earlier with Marco, 250, 270, 300, whatever this line is. The run line's a little too pricey to make my card at that cutoff. Currently, I saw it around about $1.50 before I came on. That's where it still is. So I left it off for that reason. It's also the ring ceremony, I believe, tonight. That's actually a little bit of a concern for me. I think sometimes that can be a distraction for teams when they get the championship rings. But I still like LA. I like Buehler on the mound over Ross here. And I think at minus 150, we do get a little bit of a discount on this. And once again, Dodgers continue to win by margin, and it's not a surprise. They're a very good offensive team, which makes covering the run line easier. By the way, they did lose a couple nights ago. Their second loss of the season, they lost outright. 4 of their 5 wins this year have been by 2 runs or more. Going back to last season, 34 of their 41 regular season wins. 34 of their 43 regular season wins were by 2 runs or more. 17 outright losses. So only 7 or 9 times, I believe, out of the 60 games last year did they win by exactly 1. It's only happened 1 out of the 7 games so far this year. So Dodgers minus 1.5 run line, minus 150, I think is the best way to play this one.
Sure. I mean, Dodgers off a loss, Dodgers run line off a loss is a concept I'm very, very interested in. But I want to ask you about the ring ceremony because I remember when I first moved to Vegas, back in 98, that was one of the first angles that people were talking about. Oh, you bet against teams the day they're going to get their rings. You bet against they're all distracted, yada, yada. And I know the first time I betted it won. Is that any better than 50-50 now? Or is that something that's, I mean, it was an angle that at one point had some validity to it. Is it worth anything now? I know I've heard in the NHL it's worth the most because the guys have to stand on skates for half an hour while they're on the ice while they're getting it. And in the other 3 sports, maybe it doesn't matter quite as much.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle. I was going to joke and say, what if they're getting their rings on homecoming? Because remember the old homecoming angles from football in the 90s and stuff as well. Sure. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. That's kind of how much credence I give it. My bigger concern, actually, Ted, isn't the distraction from that. It's the Dodgers haven't been home yet this year. Colorado, Oakland now home. So you combine that with the ring ceremony, which maybe could be a distraction. There's enough question marks here for me to keep it off the best bet card for that reason. But this was a game I was close to using. So, yeah, I'm not, the ring ceremony maybe is not even a filter for me, but being off of 7 straight road games and coming back home for the first time actually concerns me a bit more in this situation.
Steve, you're killing it, man. For a guy who had no time to prepare, got your plays in about 2 seconds after you actually got on the show yourself. Good stuff, dude. Philly playing the Braves tonight. Morton Wheeler, this game reeks of an under, yet the Atlanta Bats, I'm scared. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, Prez, this was my top baseball play, and I don't know if it's going to make the best bet card now or not, so I wanted to use it here on the show. I was going to try to use maybe another NBA, wasn't a lot to choose from. I mentioned NASCAR. By the way, we'll be on at 6:30 Eastern tonight with that NASCAR show with Andy Lang and Rocky, so we'll have plenty of NASCAR picks there. But I like the under here. I saw it as high as 8.5. Other spots over at 8. It's now 7.5. So you're right. Other people like the under as well. And it's just, I make the line 8. And I don't like giving up line value. That's one of the reasons I'm off to a conservative 5-1 start in baseball. Started basketball, college hoops, started 17-4. So as you know, selectivity works very well for me early in the season. So I'm probably not going to use the under as a best bet, but I do like the under in this game. It's still worth a look, especially if you can find 8 or higher this evening if the line goes back up. And Atlanta, a potent offensive team, but on the season they're batting 170 after 6 games. And Teddy talked about, offensive momentum, good and bad in baseball, and it's a 162-game season. And we all talk so much about starting pitching. I think one handicapping factor that gets swept under the rug a lot is current momentum offensively, because it's mostly the same guys in the lineup each day, and they go through ebbs and flows, hot and cold streaks, as we know. And Atlanta right now, a very potent offensive team last year, averaging 2.5 runs, batting 170 on the season. And I really like to look at batting average because that means they're not putting the ball in play. And I also like to look left on base. They've had single-digit runners left on base every game this season so far. Now, this is their first home game, but I'm not sure they're just going to flip a switch. So I think it's under in this one between the Braves and Phillies.
So let me ask you, because, the Braves started to hit in the series against Atlanta. They scored 3 runs in those first 3 games against Philly, and they scored 14 runs, 5 or more twice in the series against Washington. And Philadelphia just started to hit. They had a low-scoring series against the Braves initially, and then they have 17 runs in the 3 games against the Mets, 4 or more. All 3 of those games going over the total. So when it comes to current form offensively, we're seeing signs from these 2 squads. They both have pretty good lineups. And this total now, the 8.5s, I'm seeing the 8s getting wiped out on that right now. 7.5 now, popping up all over the place on this game. At 7.5, given the offensive prowess of these 2 teams, might we? Is this a game that, like, at 8.5, you're like, I love the under. At 7.5, maybe we like the over? Or is that just silly?
No, my pitching metrics too favor the pitchers tonight, so it's purely under or nothing for me, Teddy. I made it 8, so that kept me off the under at 7.5, but I definitely would not be on the over. One thing I'll point out quickly about that offensive momentum: yes, the runs are there, but as I said, I like to look at hits and left on base. Neither team's hitting the ball. Braves have had single-digit hits in all 6 games this year. Phillies have had 9 hits or less in 5 of their 6 games this year. Runners left on base, very low in those games. So basically, that was the maximum output I think they could have gotten. What I like to look for is when a team scores a decent amount of runs but leaves a lot of guys on base, because that means there was a lot more potential.
Yeah.
So I think those run totals are actually misleading, and I don't think they could have done much better. So for that reason, I like the under, actually.
Steve Merril, everybody. Guys, breaking news. Teddy, I know you want to say something. You're a real loyal monarchist. Prince Philip passed away this morning. Any words?
Who? Whoever that guy's name you said yesterday, Prince Philip is who the frick is Prince Philip, dude?
Who the hell is Prince Philip? Steve,
I thought he really knew.
There's Prince Teddy, Charles, right? He's the guy who was supposed to be king.
Teddy, I know you're a huge DMX fan. He just passed away a few minutes ago. Would you like to say any words?
Rest in peace, DMX.
Up in here.
Prince Philip is a who?
Oh, is that guy? The Up in Here guy?
I think it is, right?
Oh, that's a great. I know that song. Yeah,
gonna blow my mind. Up in here, isn't that DMX?
But he's dead now.
Is that DMX?
Rest in peace.
Up in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna blow my mind.
There we go.
You seriously don't know who Prince Philip is?
Is it the Queen's brother?
I don't think I've ever heard the name before.
Prez, what's the relation to the Queen? No, it's either the Queen's brother or
husband. Her husband.
Oh.
He died
not anymore.
years old. He made it to the Wayne Gretzky.
Was he 99?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
DMX didn't make 99.
DMX was like,
rest in peace, Prince Philip.
Yes.
They're both up in there.
Oh my God. I don't know what is sadder. I mean, is it sadder that DMX and Prince Philip died, or is it sadder Teddy has no idea who Terry Fox and Prince Philip is? Steve, get out of here. It's penalty box time. Thanks for joining us, bro, especially on late notice. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I have no words. I have no words. I'm in shock. Anyway, guys, I got 4 picks for you guys. This is my favorite card maybe of the entire year in the NHL. I have 3 plays up for my clients, including a 5%. And believe it or not, all 4 of these plays I'm giving out, I'm betting as well. I could have released 7 plays to my clients. I just didn't because I'm not a high volume player. Anyway, New York Islanders. We're going there first. They're minus 135 against the New York Rangers. And this is a great spot to play the New York Islanders. They just traded for 2 good hockey players, and they got to feel really, really good about themselves. On top of that, they've only lost 1 game in regulation this entire year at home. They are 17-1-1-1. They're getting a small price against a team that is nowhere near as good as them. Take the Islanders. I also like Pittsburgh in regulation here as well against the Jersey Devils. New Jersey Devils beat Buffalo last night 6-3. They're on a back-to-back situation. They got a Pittsburgh team who they've won their last game, but they lost 2 before that. I like Pittsburgh in regulation here as well. I also like St. Louis. Sorry, Terry. This is a bad spot for Minnesota, guys. Plus 100. St. Louis is fighting for their lives. I told you guys to take them against Vegas a few nights ago. This team has to go on a run. And the bottom line is Minnesota just played Colorado, beat them 8-3. That was their Stanley Cup as far as I'm concerned. It took a long time to beat that team, and they finally did it. They're going to have an emotional letdown on the road going into St. Louis. Take the Blues. And I have a parlay for you people that I am betting as well. Caps and Avs in regulation. That's it for me. What an incredibly fun show. Teddy, where are you, brother? Are you going to learn about history and things that aren't American?
No, I'm really hoping that next week on the show you'll give us maybe 5 to 7 minutes every day of famous Canadians that Americans don't know, or famous monarchists that Americans don't know, or I'm hoping you do it in a lecturing, form, because I think that's what our audience really appreciates.
What about the text you sent me last night, Teddy? Prez, don't start the show telling people that you were on edibles and listening to Pink Floyd passed out on the floor when the New York Knicks hit a 3-pointer to cover for you. Should I do that next week too?
You're going to be you, Prez, and I'm going to be me. And that's going to wrap up the week here on Wager Talk today. I want to thank Steve Merril and Marco D'Angelo for joining us on short notice. I want to thank Joe Ranieri for doing all that he does behind the scenes. I'm not going to thank my co-host. He's getting paid. I want to thank you, our viewing and listening audience, for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us. We will be back again Monday morning, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the East Coast. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
For a limited time, 30-day all-access passes are discounted from $349 to $199, saving you $150 and coming out to just $6.63 per day. We have decided to sweeten this deal and allow our clients to extend this big discount for 60 days, saving $300 and locking in their favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 2 months for only $300.98. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 60 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires.